All right, following the absolutely massive global successes of Chandrayaan-3 on the Moon and Mangalyaan on Mars, the Indian Space Research Organization, you know them as ISRO, is officially setting its sights on the solar system's most hostile world. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving deep into ISRO's daring Venus orbiter mission set for 2028 and also known as Shukrayaan-1. The sheer ambition here is off the charts, and it begs a pretty huge question. Is ISRO about to literally rewrite the history of our solar system?
To really get why this mission is such a big deal, we have to look at the core mystery scientists are obsessing over right now. Look at Earth. It's habitable, covered in oceans, totally teeming with life. Now look at Venus. It's often called Earth's twin, right? They were born from the exact same solar nebula, with almost the exact same size, mass, and density. But somehow, Venus turned into this toxic hellscape enshrouded in sulfuric acid clouds, choked out by a runaway greenhouse effect, where the atmosphere is roughly 96% carbon dioxide. So what happened? How did two virtually identical planets take such radically different paths?
And when I say hellscape, I am not exaggerating. The average surface temperature on Venus is 460 degrees Celsius. Think about that. That is actually hotter than Mercury, even though Mercury is much closer to the Sun. On top of that, the atmospheric pressure is 90 times heavier than what we have here on Earth. Just walking on the surface of Venus would literally feel like being almost a kilometer deep in our own oceans. It's an environment so extreme that it completely crushes standard landers in a matter of minutes.
Section 1. ISRO's Budget Space Miracle.
So, since putting a lander down for long-term science is pretty much impossible right now, ISRO has designed a mega orbiter. We're talking about an incredibly sophisticated piece of engineering weighing in around 2,500 kilograms. And it is locked in for a highly anticipated launch on March 29, 2028, riding into deep space on India's most powerful heavy-lift rocket, the upgraded LVM-3.
Now, here is where it gets really wild. The Indian government formally approved this mission with a budget of roughly 1,236 crore rupees, which translates to just about 150 million US dollars. Think about that. ISRO is executing a massive interplanetary mission packing 19 different scientific payloads for an absolute fraction of what other space agencies project for similar missions. It's a true budget miracle, and honestly, it perfectly continues ISRO's legendary tradition of getting the maximum possible scientific return out of every single rupee invested.
Section 2. Piercing the acid clouds.
Here's the problem with Venus. You can't just point a standard camera at it. Those incredibly thick sulfuric acid clouds block literally everything. So instead, ISRO is bringing in its Venus S-band synthetic aperture radar, or VISAR. This radar is designed to pierce right through that dense toxic atmosphere, day or night. It's going to map the Venusian surface at a staggering 20 to 30 meters per pixel. Just to put that into perspective, that is up to 4 times higher resolution than NASA's Magellan orbiter managed back in the 90s. It's going to let scientists pinpoint active volcanism and tectonic shifts like never before.
But wait, Shukrayaan-1 is not just stopping at the surface. They are taking it a step further. It's going to carry a ground-penetrating subsurface radar. By using radio waves, this will actually be the first mission in history to study several meters beneath the Venusian surface. While all the previous missions basically just looked at the clouds or the very top of the crust, ISRO is gearing up to reveal hidden rock layers, subsurface geological structures, and maybe even hidden magma chambers. It's a total game-changer.
Section 3. A global space alliance.
A mission of this sheer magnitude isn't just an Indian achievement. It's a huge win for all of humanity. And that's really driven by ISRO's open payload model. Just like they did with Chandrayaan-1, ISRO basically invited the world to participate. And let me tell you, top space agencies across the globe eagerly answered the call. This spacecraft has become a true international ambassador.
For instance, in some massive breaking news, Sweden has officially joined forces with India. They're providing the Venusian Neutrals Analyzer, an instrument that will measure how the solar wind is literally stripping away the planet's atmosphere. Then you've got the Viral instrument, which is this really cool joint effort by Russia and France set to analyze atmospheric gases. Plus, Germany is partnering up on the Ravi instrument to study the radio anatomy of the ionosphere. It is quite simply an absolute masterclass in global space diplomacy.
Section 4. Surviving extreme aerobraking.
So how does it actually get there? Well, the journey itself is a sprint. After launching in March 2028, the spacecraft goes through a 112-day deep space transit. It's a remarkably quick trip. Then, in July 2028, it performs the crucial Venus orbit insertion. Basically, it hits the brakes to enter this initial, highly elliptical parking orbit that loops from 500 kilometers out to 60,000 kilometers away from the planet.
Now, that initial wide orbit is way too far out to do the high-resolution science ISRO wants, which brings us to a seriously treacherous maneuver known as aerobraking. Normally, you'd fire thrusters and burn massive amounts of heavy fuel to shrink an orbit down. But here, instead of doing that, the spacecraft is going to repeatedly dip right into Venus's upper atmosphere. Over 6 to 8 agonizing months, it will literally use the aerodynamic drag of Venus's crushing atmosphere as a natural brake. It's almost like surfing the atmosphere to slow down.
It's brilliant, really. By using the planet's own atmosphere to slow down, ISRO saves an enormous amount of fuel weight. And in the space business, every kilogram of fuel you don't have to carry is a kilogram of actual science you can carry. This exact fuel-saving strategy is how ISRO is able to pack an unprecedented 100 kilograms of scientific payload onto the orbiter, eventually settling into a tight 200 by 600 kilometer polar science orbit. That's a massive payload for a mission like this.
Section 5. Finding Life and Volcanoes.
Once it's finally parked in that low orbit, the real magic begins. Sure, they're going to decode the runaway greenhouse effect and search for active volcanoes. But there's one incredibly captivating target they are hunting for: phosphine. Back in 2020, scientists detected traces of this gas in Venus's upper clouds. Now, why does that matter? Because on Earth, phosphine is heavily associated with anaerobic microbial life. And high up in that Venusian atmosphere, the temperature is actually a surprisingly comfortable 60 degrees Celsius. So Shukrayaan-1's instruments will be quietly testing for the extraordinary possibility that microbial life is floating right there in the clouds of Venus.
When you step back and look at the big picture, Venus isn't just some random hostile rock in space. It is Earth's mirror image. Somewhere deep in its past, something went catastrophically wrong. And understanding how Venus died isn't just planetary science, it's Earth science. If Venus really is Earth's twin, is its terrifying toxic present our inevitable future? Hopefully, ISRO's Shukrayaan-1 can find the answers before we ever have to find out for ourselves.